All right, it is time for the last map of the night. I cannot stress the importance here for, well, actually, that's pretty much over, isn't it? The Immortals have qualified for the LAN. Yeah. Renegades aren't going to LAN anyway, but this is still an important matchup nonetheless because this could determine if a lower ranked team does make it to the LAN.
Exactly, I mean, for Immortals, again, they still have to continue. Now the fight isn't whether or not they make it to Dallas. Now the fight is all about getting a better seed than obviously their opponents. So maybe they can catch up to SK. Maybe they can keep Cloud9, Liquid, those guys behind them as we close out the final games of the season. So still something to fight for, obviously, but the big goal at hand has been reached for the Brazilians.
All right, well, we're going to throw it now over to Eric de Beer Stromberg, who is standing by with a little bit of Renegades as cash.
Hey, Australia, let's do another shoey, eh? No, I don't think so. That's crazy. You guys are crazy over there. But you know what? I like the passion. I like the energy that you guys bring over there. But right now, we're going to take a look at Team Renegades on cash. They're going to be playing the second hardest round in the game, and that's anti-eco right after pistol. You see right here, Ustilo, Uber, they're taking it slow. They're not making much noise at all. The person making all the noise is Azur over there by the squeaky. He's going to be making noise. He's spamming. He's nading. The rest of the team's kind of holding for default, trying to look for information. Azur bringing the attention to him. He gets 2 kills right off the bat. Nice play by him. This opens up the A main. As you see, they don't have to toss many nades at this point. They got 2 kills. Azur playing it smart by just jumping around like a maniac. And while this is happening, Uber and Ustilo, 2 U's in the same team. I don't think anyone else has a U name that I know of. But you know what? If I see another team losing an anti-eco in this game, I'm tempted to do a shoey, all right? I want to see more consistent rounds, more play. Right here, you saw one by Renegades, make it look easy, make it look simple. Maybe that's what you got to do. Just keep it simple, guys, on the anti-ecos. Back to you, Stunna.
You know, we've said it before. You got to keep it simple.
Got to keep it simple.
And I think that's the same sentiment Eric said. Probably the second time tonight he said that.
Yeah.
And most certainly the second time for us. So 4 times tonight you've been told to keep it simple. Don't church it up. Don't make it complicated. Get out there and do what works.
Yeah. It's pretty easy, at least on paper, right? Like that's all you can do. Present it on paper, make it look
just make it look
good. For them. Yeah, make it look good. Make it look easy.
Make it look easy. How about we throw it over to the commentators now who are standing by to take it away here on Cash between Immortals and Renegades.
Hey, thanks very much, Stunna. Yeah, so looking at this second map now, it does go over to Cash. Better odds here for the Renegades now, or?
I mean, maybe rounds-wise, but I don't really think odds-wise. I think Immortals is a really good Cash team.
Yeah.
Maybe they get a little sloppy here, though, you know, after winning that first map so easily, but Renegades just looked... I mean, but then again, you know, they won a round, they got reset. They won a round, they got reset. They lost both pistols. You're never going to win when that happens. So even though it was an entire map, like the sample size was so small of what we actually saw. Today's kind of flown by. It's our last map of the night.
Yes, it is. So we'll have to see if the Renegades can put up a bit of a better fight this time and keep themselves in the match. But if not, well, it'll be swift and clean for the Immortals. This would actually allow them to, obviously not, you know, for the whole season, but for right now, it's actually going to put them in first seed too. Put them #1 in the division. Now we are going to see the Immortals moving in very quickly, taking that mid-control. Response does come in very fast from Azur. Henny striking right back, though, able to eliminate Azur just right after he picks up that kill. Ustilo going to be pinched in the second here and isn't able to pick up any additional kills for himself. And now with Bolts and Lucas pushing forward, find those 2 more. I think he is, yeah, it was just a bugged animation. It's just JKS left alive here now in the 1v4, and he isn't getting anything done either. So Bolts will shut it down, and the Immortals once again claim their pistol.
Yeah, 3 for 3 for pistols right now. JKS forgetting to buy on the pistol round, doing the Bogdan. Let's see if it's an ump armor. Is it the Bogdan?
Was he listening?
Bog.
There it is.
He's listening to me. I'm revolutionizing the game right now.
It's like... Watch this works, and then
it's gonna work.
Watch this works,
Where is
and then he's
he's a B.
I was gonna say watch this works, and then they all do it second half. But now we see the Immortals creeping back up to try and enter back in. He's still being knocked out early on. pushing forward over towards A main. Nifty getting a nice shot, however, against Steel, so holding the back, and they're going to have close quarters battle. Azure, nice control, takes out Lucas, and then immediately flicks onto the headshot. Nifty with another one against Henny as well. All of a sudden, only one remaining for the Immortals. It's just FNX alive with a 1v4 scenario. Very little potential to actually sneak into this site, let alone get that bomb onto the ground and actually clutch this back out. He's got 3 different players coming in from 3 different positions as he pushes in. Just dispatched of one of them. He's got to be careful of a flank, though. Azure pushing up on the backside. Nexa now armed with an AK. And there's going to be that UMP holding off as he's now out of ammo on the UMP and has to go over to the USP, but manages to move forward regardless, pick up the kill into Azure. At this point in time, would have hightailed that out if he were gone to B, but unfortunately, with the bomb on the ground, that's no longer an option. He does have to go back into the arena and fight once more.
And if he waits about 5 seconds, well, he does throw the Molotov into locker. I was going to say, if he waits about 5 seconds, they have to worry about highway and door.
But throwing the Molotov should reassert their positions here, along with the way that they're actually looking at this. He does have Nifty relatively low, but finally Nexa peeks out from quad and just finds the angle to finish him off. So the Renegades do successfully pull off the eco there, and they immediately bring this up 1-1.
They do just pretty much like a forced round from Immortals, just running out of that smoke. Great shots by Azure.
And so now this is going to put the Immortals onto their own sort of force up here. Henny obviously saving a bit more highly as he's just going to be on P250. Everyone else, though, either with Deagle or P250 armor purposes. And trying to make impact early on to the best of their own ability. As they just kind of split themselves up. JKS, well, just not even paying attention, unfortunately, to that right side flank. I think he's thought the smoke was in a more perfect position. And Lucas just picks up the second kill as well, now knocking out Nexa. Sights open. All the Immortals are going to flood back in. They do have to be cautious of Heaven over here, but Nifty will find 1 kill. One more to go. Whole clip being utilized here. Yusilla pushing back in. There's still hope yet for the Renegades, even after we do see this site going under the control of the T's. Now, Immortals get a little bit over-aggressive there with Lucas pushing through. Azure's able to hold that position. Puts us back down to a 2v2. Well, just 2 P250s. Bolts was able to scavenge one, I think, and now he's got an M4 as well. But Nifty, good timing on his push. Unfortunately, doesn't check below him where he would have had rights to a free kill. And Steel pushing in, catches Azure mid-reload. Bolts finishes it off. We're right back into chaos as Immortals trade it back again.
Just huge entries with the Deagle. Which player was that on Worlds? Actually, missed it. First 2 kills.
That was
Lucas, probably?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but why go headshot there against a Deagle when you know the Deagle's coming in first? If you're Nexa, I believe it was.
Yep, was Nexa. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Questionable decision. In my opinion.
It's decent opinion. So. Well, now we do have the Immortals pushing in, and immediately Nex is going to get clotheslined by Henny. Stopped in his tracks as he was trying to, I imagine, rush behind that box there, but Immortals were too quick on the draw. Azure though finding one, but this is going to be a little bit awkward. Steal out, gets us the trade on the Ustillo, but he's still at Azure in the mix with the UMP there. Great shot coming out from JKS. Lines it up on the bolts, but at the same exact time, Lucas also found Nifty, putting this back into another 2v2. JKS still waiting at headshot though. Peeking back up, has the angle. Body shots will finish off Lucas, and now 1 remains. It's going to be Henny. Takes the safe path though to eliminate JKS, and now 1 to go up in heaven. Holding a nice angle though, and that is what allows him to win it out the end. He swings out from the hard right side, takes out Henny, and secures yet another round for the Renegades. It's still, no team has control 5 rounds into the game.
Yeah, just back and forth, and Immortals just playing so loose right now. Just contesting every angle of the map, trying to take a lot of individual battles. But now Renegades, I mean, they should win this round. They're just going up against a CZ, a couple Deagles. It is forced by from Immortals, but certainly someone's going to win a couple rounds in a row. Azure is going to get pop flash here. Nicely done. He jump spots, sees they're there, then gets the pop flash from his teammate. That's one of the best ways to challenge a setup like this, is you do things like that, where you can actually take solo plays. You get pop flashed, you set up traps like that.
And Bolt's now waiting for the white box peek as well. Spotted it. They know the presence is here. They can just push more players out in the open and try and take out this member from the Renegades. It's Nifty currently playing on the highway position as the flash moves in, but the CTs are long gone, so they are just going to yield control of mid for right now. They still have the man advantage. They don't lose Nifty back in white box, so they keep that going. And despite the fact they get mid control, they still have pretty good positions to hold on either bomb site right now. So just going to play it loose, just going to play it more proactively, ready for the rotate here. And when they do figure out where exactly this bomb is going, they'll act upon that pretty quickly, you can bet. Lucas, though, with the deagle in hand, we saw the work he did in the last round. Molly's going to deny him of being able to do that, at least early on here this time, though, as the Renegades do get the read on what exactly is happening in this site. Fast rotates are coming back in for more of these CTs, and Nex has already shut out one of them. Nifty back into the fray with a second, and they are pretty much just ending this relatively quickly. Lucas sneaks in for 1 kill with a Galil, but that's all he's going to get. And finally, we have a team with control. It's the Renegades up 3-2.
That's exactly how you want to play that situation in a 4v5. You spot them, you throw your own one-way smoke, you make them commit, because all they want to do is like take individual gun battles. If you're Immortals there, right? That's all you're looking for. And then when you know like 3 are there, Nifty comes from heaven, he gets easy kills because they have to look towards sight. That's exactly what you want to do. So very nicely played from Renegades. Spot out what they're doing, delay them, the rotate comes, then you can all peek together and win the round that way.
I think something to consider here too now is now that Immortals have actually secured their playoff spot, they might just play these games a lot looser. And I think this is something you talked about a lot, about how Immortals like play to the level of their opponent online. So they may go back to that now that they're 100% secured for Dallas.
Oh yeah, that was a very I'm telling you right now, if that was on LAN, if they were in Dallas right now, those anti-ecos would not have been played like that. 100%.
Well, now we have the Immortals shifting inside of A main on their full save here. Just a couple P250s is all they bring to the table this time. And it's not starting off too well. Eastillo, actually Bolt swings in there and takes out Eastillo as he's boxed back in, but full rotates are moving their way over. However, it's still even into a 3v3. Now some players are picking up big guns too, but thankfully Renegades still have a huge advantage in terms of the fact that they have like armor and whatnot to play with here. You can see Steel trying to battle it back out, but Nexus swings in with the UMP and picks up those last 2 kills for basically a full save that's not bad, knocking out 3 players.
Yeah, really good job by Immortals on that full eco. Yeah, whenever we played online, with IBP, we literally just defaulted every single round no matter what. We never did any set strats or anything because we knew we were going to make playoffs. So even if we lost a couple times, even if we lost like COD 9 online, like it never mattered because we knew we'd make playoffs.
Yeah.
And played like super loose just to not show anything in demos or anything like that. And then, even if we lost anyways, we'd just say they're just online and it would never happen on LAN. So, so who cares? That's my response to anything, anytime I lose online.
The day he does that on LAN.
Yeah. That's literally just...
Well, now Renegades trying to challenge for squeaky control early on. Even in the hall itself, this is a lot of pressure being thrown out by the Renegades right now. They're doing utility and everything. It's a great spray from Eastillo. Brings FNX down to 4 HP. Lucas pushing back up now inside. And he's being cautious of them having to push their way all the way inside of A main, holding like locker room control. Not going to be the case right now, but Nifty missing that first shot. Goes inside of the wall. The flashbang bouncing out. It's actually a nice flash, but doesn't connect, as for the most part Immortals have called for a hold, and they are just keeping all their players passively held inside of A main or outside. Sort of this default here. Nifty goes for that shot again, much more widely swung though to the other side of Quad. It does not work out for him. Azur and Eastillo able to hold. Next 2 pickups, though, that's Lucas and Henny both going down. And now 2 of the remaining 3 are going to attempt to push their way out through Squeaky with a bomb going in through A main, but this is already pretty well set up for the Renegades. The only thing that would kill it right now is if Immortals make this entry onto A without any trades going against them. But even that's not going to happen as Eastillo pushes back into A main, knocks out Bolts. Steel trading onto Azur. Eastillo is going to get taken out by Steel too, so we do see them moving back in, bringing it down to a 2v2. Only 10 seconds remain though. They're not going to be able to try and like fake play this and swing it over to their bomb, so they have to stick here and go for the plant, and just a default plant as well. FNX, 4 HP, has to tuck himself back inside of A main and basically stay out of comp. This is all to Steel, who is almost going to have to, for sure, pick up a 4K. FNX may be able to dip back in and find one of those, but it's going to be very, very rough. Utility moving back in, smokes the other side. They don't have any mollies or anything is the good news, so they can't actually force Immortals' players out into the open, but they can use the smokes to kind of dilute their vision a bit. Great flashbang from FNX, though. Allows Steel to swing back out, takes down Nexa, and now just JKS left alive here in the 1v2. Knows where both of these players should be at, generally speaking, though, but he's also sandwiched himself in between the 2 of them. Down to 22 HP, picks up the 1, jumping out of the bomb. 4, 3, it's going to be so close, and he's trying to push into it. Is he going to get in time? Yes! Just over a second remaining on the defuse, and FNX does pick up the kill, but everyone dies at the end of the round. Yeah,
because they got those 3 P250 kills, the Renegades buy isn't great. But that flashbang was so well timed from FNX and Steel, and that was really their one lifeline to win that round. FNX, they knew where he was. Steel's weak in sight. FNX's Molotov kind of gets dissipated by the smoke. So they just had that one flashbang. That was their lifeline, and he uses it perfectly.
Yeah, secures one of the 2 kills, and then at that point, the last guy on the Renegades kind of sandwiches himself in that situation there. So Nexa first up to bat this time, though, since the Immortals are going to be mainly on UMPs. It's the same for the Renegades, granted, but as we can see, first kill goes by the way of Nexa. Pushing his way back out, eliminating FNX early on. A lot of utility being used by the Immortals within just the first 2 seconds of the round. JKS wanting to challenge some of this. If they do try to swing out through Team Main, Immortals maybe calling this off a little bit, though. They are going to keep Lucas just outside of Team Main to try and keep the illusion alive, but for the most part, they are giving up this pursuit and falling back towards mid to line up in more of a default. And it will be a default. It could very well end up just going back into B since they get mid control essentially for free. Nifty going to be here, though. And he's been relatively hard to deal with. He hasn't necessarily been picking up a huge amount of kills, but he's actually been pretty hard to take out in a lot of the gun rounds so far. So, nades being used again here from both sides to try and stem the tide a little bit. For Immortals are trying to open up new opportunities for them. They've boosted you still up on top of Shroud Spot, going in for the spray, picks up the first kill. They don't even realize it either, so he gets the second one for free. Eventually drops down and dies, but it doesn't matter as Azur's in the site and he's able to handle the rest of the players pretty easily.
Pretty clean round from Renegades. Much needed clean round. They reset Immortals. Now Immortals is going to be on a full save, I would assume, unless they want to Tech 9 armor, but big round there for both teams. Whoever won that was going to, force the other one to be, reset their economy, be on eco. We're going to see a full save come out from Immortals, except for a couple upgraded pistols.
Yeah, and they are just going to split themselves up once again. A lot of the pressure moving its way towards mid, but I believe they'll keep Steel, I think it is, just outside. And Nifty, almost getting knocked out there. Flashbang hitting him quite confidently is going to send him back over here behind the shed. Once again, tagged, not able to hit his own shot. So he'll be down at 50 HP. No one actually able to hit the headshot and knock him out of the play just yet. But he sees just how many players are pushing in and obviously has called to the B players that, yeah, there's going to be a big rush coming your way. So just get ready for it. And there we go. Clean up from the Renegades roster. 5 kills to none as they all try to push their way in through the vents and they don't get anything done whatsoever. Another save probably going to be happening here again. They'll probably have a few players with at least armor bought up behind it this time, though. I would expect anyway, but we'll see in a second. As they did not get a whole lot done there. So the Renegades are getting themselves into a pretty secure position. 6-3, now doubling the scoreline of the Immortals. And again, you actually don't see, half buys even coming in for the Immortals. They all just go for deagles, except for Henny. So it's going to be a bit of a deco round here, and we will see if they can make any significant impact with it this time, as last time they just got wiped clean. Weren't even give it a chance. Bolts first at the bat, and he strikes, swings as well, knocking out Nexa. I think he knows there's a second one around here too. I just don't think he knows exactly where he's hiding out at. Everyone across the map hunting for that initial deagle kill. Bolts obviously has already hit his strike, but the others are looking for it. Oh, it walks into the op there as Bolts spotted the right side. Nifty didn't realize it was the opper. And that's what's eventually going to lead to his own death. It's seeming like this is going much more back to the control of the Renegades now, though. Azur just picking them off one by one from the white box in mid. The bomb, unfortunately, got pushed outside when he killed one of these players, too. And with Steel being eliminated, just FNX at 26 HP. Doesn't get any more kills done. So there you have it. 7-3. The Renegades in stern control of this CT side now.
Finally, a full buy comes out from Immortals. No op, though, onto Henny, so... But a lot of utility. I don't know how much this utility matters, because, I don't think they're going to do any type of set strat. It's just going to be a lot of just fighting at multiple spots, I would assume.
Yeah, it's looking like Lucas just wants to go out to mid right at the start. They even boost up players, too. Azur knows this is here, but he's actually a little bit cautious of his own life, so backs over towards White Box, gets himself out of the sandbags. JKS catching that first kill there. Azur able to find one, but then trade it back out. A-side defense is actually really weak right now. They now only have Ustilla sitting on the site after Azur was eliminated, but JKS quick on the rotate, puts himself outside of Z, stops FNX from moving in and pinching to stop the B players from rotating over. And that adds like a second player over to the site by Truck. They're going to have a third in a second here too. Stillo finding some damage against him though as he tries to creep around and change up his own position, and Steal up highway might be able to find himself 2 kills for free, but it doesn't work out. Stillo checks it at just the right moment and is able to isolate it before Steal can surprise around that corner. Now just leaves Henny alone in a 1v4. Try to push his way back out, but there's so many players here. Nifty hits that final shot, and there you go. It's another round for the Renegades.
Yeah, fast mid take from Immortals. Azure hit a really nice shot at highway box, but kind of just breaks down. They don't really have much of a plan, I don't think. I think it's more just, you know, everybody kind of do whatever you want. You know, it's just how Immortals plays a lot of the time on the online.
Yeah. So once again, back down onto their save here. Lucas trying to hit some shots through the paneling. I think he hits one on the Azure. Just about 10 damage though, so it's nothing huge. And basically just waiting back to see what Immortals will do. Immortals, overall though, as we've mentioned many times now, playing a much looser style here, you can't expect too much delay in what they're going to do. More than likely, within the next 30 seconds or so, they should be forming up, trying to move and execute. Basically just getting as much damage as possible. With this damage could form into some actual successful take. Move in, find a kill on A, and over towards B. Leaves Nexa here now. Gets himself into a very secure duel against Bolts. Just challenges it a little bit closer up. Nifty finding another kill into Lucas there. They're in good strides now. Azure peeking out, getting the last 2 kills, and there you have it. Another one for the Renegades. Still 3 players left alive. Money is huge. Every single player at 10K before they buy. Granted, they do have to reinvest into a lot of utilities. That's the one thing that Immortals are being able to do, is force out that utility quite a bit. So it's causing a lot of these rebuys to be quite expensive, even when it is just utility. But besides that, as you can see, the money very strong for the CT side, and it's put them in a good position, basically making them unbreakable for the rest of the half now. We are going to be going into another gun round once again here for the Immortals. Quite a few of their players going to be spreading out into just another default, and the Renegades even going to get aggressive this time. Azure specifically up on top of the counter boost, waiting to see if he can catch anyone from the Immortals going over top, as they've been big fans of these this just heavy mid plays. But I don't think we're actually going to see it this time, and Lucas is even watching for a counter boost too. Hasn't been able to spot the head just yet, but the second he pops over, he should be able to spot it relatively quickly, and we'll have a good advantage in that 1v1. As they just wait for the rest of the team to get in position here. More than likely looking at an A executor right now, but that could change too. Renegades very well set up, and now finally we do see the boost up coming back in. FNX spotting it though. Pre-fires across the white little tarp or whatever that is up on top. Moves in for the kill. Nexa, well, he does get a trade, but the problem is he stays in that Molotov for way too long, and then just gets burnt out seconds later. So it doesn't really result in a very effective trade. Leaves it into another 4v3 scenario here now. And there's still pressure working its way onto B too, so basically Immortals just all over the place right now, and Renegades not able to control the situation as much as they'd like. Nifty finding 1 kill from within the site, mollying off the cross. It shouldn't stop them from planting, I don't believe anyway. But regardless, the molly is going to do somewhat decent damage here. They'll wait for it to fade before they do go for the bomb plant, and more importantly for Nifty to get pushed back away. That molly looks like it's right... What? Somehow that's not burning him. It does at the very last second as it sort of spreads. But anyway, Stillo pushes back in, gets 2 more of those kills, and they're already on the defuse here. Bolts, I don't even think he's going to be able to wrap in time to stop this from happening. Gets that kill on Stillo, but doesn't stop the defuse, so Renegades win out the round anyway.
Yeah, 10-3 for Renegades now, and just the opposite of what we saw last game.
Yeah. I think Immortals are relatively happy with winning the 1 map.
Yeah, I completely agree.
This map's more of just a casual scrim for them. Well, fast out through mid more than likely again. Lucas already inside of the smoke. Not going to follow through going all the way outside, however, but regardless, both Henny and Lucas taking that damage early on, down to 62 and 41 HP respectively on those two. For the others, just lined up into the default, as we've come to expect. And the Renegades spinning their players up, still 2-1-2 even across the map as well here, with Nifty watching out for mid-pressure in Z. But no decision being made yet by the Immortals in terms of where they're actually going to send their default setup. As they're close up to A main for yet another round here, impacting quite nicely. Nifty winning the duel versus FNX in mid. The remaining 3 have to kind of try and group back up here to make a push, but Still completely denied of all pressure. Smokes in the way. They still have a few more smokes and mollies on that CT side, whereas Immortals just have a single HE grenade sitting on bolts. They may be able to pick up something off of the corpses of their teammates in mid and across the rest of the portions of the map, but at the moment just not finding anything at all. So they go for mid control. Nifty hitting another shot by Z, I think. And he's still mollying off highway. He's going to completely deny their entry. Lucas can't go through that. He's at 18 HP. Bolts could, but Nifty taking him out as well. And Ustillo spotting out Lucas. I think Lucas tries to use the flames to hide inside of it, but it doesn't pan out. So 11-3 now for the Renegades as they are crushing this first half. And while we will see a full buy for the Immortals going into the last round, once again, utility is going to be somewhat limited for a few of their players. Thankfully, they have enough, though. And as you mentioned, utility is not going to be the biggest worry in the world for the Immortals.
Looks like it's just going to be 5-man B, full rush, no flash.
Big train, smokes, going into the way from the CTs. They molly off ramp, prevent quick access to the site. JKS getting one, traded out by Henny. That's actually the only player in the site, too. Nexa was up in heaven, and he's definitely not challenging that right now. So he's going to wait for rotates to move back in. They will have a flank coming out through T-Halls in a second. I think it's Ustillo pushing in there, but the plant going to go onto the ground. They do this even. They have it into a 4v4. What's even better for the Renegades, they have a bunch of utility, too. 3 Molotovs, 2 smokes, basically whatever they want they can try and use, but the T's also have a little bit of it left over. Molly going back down below them. They can't really evacuate from heaven right now. They certainly could, but they take a bit of unnecessary damage if they do it. Boost up, I think, in heaven there to try and spot beyond it, but not really working out, not finding a whole lot. 3 quick kills for the Immortals. Henny, FNX, and Steel all impacting. Nifty with a nice shot, but unfortunately he's the last man alive, and now he goes down. So with that said, it's still going to be very, very favored for the Renegades. We have basically a flip scenario of what we had in our last map. It's 11-4 in their favor. Stick with us, and we'll be back with the second half in just a few.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
For the last time this evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL Pro League. It's currently the Renegades versus the Immortals. While the Immortals took stern control of our first map on Mirage, it's flipped now, and it is currently the Renegades that have it over here on Cash. Coming off of their CT side, they hold an 11-4 advantage, and it really just seemed like, obviously, Immortals playing this one a much more looser, a much more standard style of play after they did secure the first map. The most important one, that is the one that got them into Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty apparent Immortals is, you know, just kind of playing, you know, not really taking it too seriously, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you think about it, right? You're in the seedings aren't a huge thing overall because it's like just 2 separate groups, and it's like 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, and 6. So it's pretty much like a toss of the dice who you end up with regardless.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even care about seeding because you can't predict where everyone's going to land in the seedings anyways.
Yeah. So now it's much more about, as you were mentioning before, just trying to like hide strats and whatnot. Not necessarily strats, but just like the way they play defense out and certain tendencies that they may have. We even have bolts going for dually purchase in the pistol round, so we'll see how this pans out for them. Unfortunately, the Renegades aren't going to stick with your save everything in the pistol round and then buy up in the next one. But we do start to see the Renegades pushing through for a fast B execute. It's working out okay for them. Quick trades moving in for the Immortals, though, but they overstay their welcome, specifically with this Vents play. FNX is diving back in. Same for Henny. Gives himself away. And now Bolts is going to have to try and win this out with the dualies. Headshot at range to start us off. Almost gets the second one, too. But Nexa does punish it, and it'll be the Renegades that control the second half pistol here.
If only they did the Bogdan.
If only. Well, we've got a few. Actually, no. Renegades took control of it, so it's not actually. I thought. I was still looking at it for the last half. So. Yeah, Immortals are just going to go for forced investment into the second round now. 3 Deagles, 2 of them with armor, and then CZ armor purchases for Steel and Lucas. And FNX already going to be trying to move in and challenge this with the Deagle now. It doesn't have any flash support or anything, so this is a raw push. It's a little bit of damage off of Nifty there, and just goes in on Ustillo. It works out, though. Picks up the kill. Problem is now he's trapped here. Has to basically commit himself to the fight, as Azur was going to kill him if he tried to retreat, almost certainly, unless he had a really nice headshot there. So it does end up in a 1-for-1 trade, brings us down to a 4v4 situation. There's still pressure towards B, so the B guys can't rotate out just yet. They obviously don't know the scope of which this pressure is going to be pushing itself into A. Bolts probably going to do the same thing as FNX, but he's actually got a much better position to try and do this. His aggression would be a bit of a surprise. Nexa still able to react to it quite nicely, though, taking out Bolts. Azur with the door open is able to isolate Henny when he pushes into the open there. Just Steel and Lucas remain, and they were way back over on B, so their best bet here now is going to be to line up for sort of exits or just try to work towards some sort of flank. And Lucas, well, not necessarily exits, but he just push himself into the site. Works out okay. 1-for-1 trade. Not going to set up Steel for a whole lot of success, though. I think he's a 1v3 to try and play off against, and that's not going to work either. Renegades secure their second round, and this will push them up pretty much to match point. Really going to need 1 or 2 gun rounds to close out on the map now, because they should have this round without too much conflict, as it is going to be the full save round for the Immortals.
Yeah, so we'll be looking at 4-14, most likely, when the first buy round comes out.
Not wasting any time either. Just out in the open in mid. Same for Azur on A. FNX, Bolts, both finding kills. Good shot for you still in the MAC-10.
That's only on 3 health,
Yeah,
too.
he's got to be careful. Thankfully, Ustillo just pushes in, takes him out. They nade him out as well, so they're getting back control pretty quickly. A site's already under full control for the Renegades here, so they can just fall back from mid. Okay, or not. Nexa getting eliminated by Lucas, but Ustillo should be able to wrap around through Z. And as his teammate quickly evacuates over towards A main there and plants the bomb, Ustillo's going to have a good position. I don't even think either of them are watching towards Z. He's going to waltz right in. There's 1, and there's 2. As he shuts it down. Just 2 more rounds to go now, as we are going to finally get into the gun rounds for the Immortals. But, like I said, 2 away, and then Renegades will have control of this map. Oh. That was a nice sound.
Quick 4K for Ustilla.
Yeah, and even on the gun round here, Immortals are going to be a little bit scrapped with their buy. No mollies. They get like SpaceX smokes and whatnot, but already FNX getting knocked back out. That's Azur hitting that early shot here. Got a few more CTs trying to play to relatively aggressive positions, or at least the CTs in B are trying to prioritize over here towards Checker. Steel tries to make a play, doesn't pan out. Lucas is there for the trade, but the 1-for-1 in this situation does not necessarily benefit them, as it still leaves them a man down here. And what's even worse, because of this play, they don't have anyone in mid any longer. Ustillo going to be able to waltz right in, finds Bolts. Henny trying to get aggressive, but all this pressure has just completely warped itself away from A now. So Henny is just going to find players, basically trying to hunt him down at this point as he brings it into a 1v3. And his best bet now is going to be to save so that they can have some firepower going into what could be the last round. Slowly kind of evacuating into A, but he knows there's a player at truck. Wants to take the duel too. He's just challenging himself here to see if he can hit it. Problem is he still is being relatively smart about this one, just waiting until they have the full pinch against this Opper so that they can actually make sure they take it down without leaving room for him to pull off the 1v2. Nicely done from Henny, though. Notices Azure at the very last second, and now he can sort of play ring around the rosy with you still a little bit, takes him down, but at the end of the day, Nifty swings out to Highway and takes him out anyway. But regardless, the Renegades are up on 15. One more round to go, and they'll win out this map and take it 1-1 for tonight.
Yeah, it was just being so annoying there. Oh man, Henny just couldn't get a clean shot on him. That was really nice played by Ustila.
And yeah, you just look at what the Immortals bring to the table here compared to the Renegades. It is a full gonna be full UMPs and a single deagle for Lucas. FNX trying to just go right into the battle, but JKS runs right up, takes him down. They even go for the check in the smoke. Sometimes you leave a CT in there and it catches you off guard every once in a while, but not the case this time. Immortals leave no one else in mid. That's already full control, a massive amount of map control going by the way of the Renegades, just 15 seconds into the round. JKS getting ready to push up towards Highway a little bit here too, and everyone for Immortals so spread out. JKS just walks himself into a kill against Bolts as he peeks at an opportune moment for JKS to line up the headshot there. Henny, Steel, Lucas, now the last remaining. Azure able to eliminate Henny. Just down to Steel and Lucas at this point. And it's not looking like they'll be able to do all that much as you still already being able to hunt down Lucas and Steel. The last one remaining, doesn't even want to fight for it, just goes into the open. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The second map will go relatively quickly into the hands of the Renegades as they trade it 1-1 for the evening. Regardless though, the Immortals, with their successes on map number 1 in Mirage, they'll take control, get themselves up to that safe 17 wins, and with that, they'll have secured their position at Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, they did what they needed to. They got their Dallas spot, and after that they just kind of said, well, you know, it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, basically. Now what's really interesting about this too is if they continue to kind of play like that, because they still have one more game and it's against Misfits. And Misfits could be the team that sort of sneaks up at the very end and actually, because they have a surprising amount of like tiebreaker wins. So if they
won
up
2 overs Cloud9, remember? So
they have a surprising amount of ways that they could actually bump one team out. But to break down this final map and overall all of tonight's games, we're going to send it over to the analysts to close it out. So guys.
Thanks, Blue. Appreciate you guys.
What's going on over there?
Yeah, no, it's a long night. It's been a long night here.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of Counter-Strike to watch.
Yeah. Got a little shook by the results.
Yeah, I really think that's what it was. When it came down to it, this matchup meant more so to the teams outside of it than it did the two teams inside.
Exactly.
Because Renegades not going to the Pro League Finals. Immortals already punched their ticket with the last map before that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that might have been reflected a tiny bit by Immortals' play. We talked about keeping it simple. They did so to a very high degree, to the point where it kind of just backfired a little bit. But yes. Yeah, no. Again, solid showing from Renegades, but I'm not sure how much stock we can put into this game, considering the circumstances.
Well, let's take a look at round 2 when keeping it simple.
Goes full Barney style.
Goes wrong, I think.
Yeah, it's just full on Barney style. It's Immortals pretty much just deciding to use their anti-eco after just throwing a couple of nades into mid, not necessarily doing anything at all, but for right now, just highlights popping up from the side of Renegades. And this was pretty much what the game was like in many ways. It was Renegades just having a ball. But yeah, no, second round was pretty much spent with Immortals bum rushing towards A, through a smoke, not working out obviously too well, running into a bunch of CZs. Then they win the round back off of Lucas getting a couple of 1-digs, and they follow that up by doing something similar to simple, which is just spread out thinly. Everybody goes 1 by 1, tries to take duels, lose out, history repeats itself.
History repeats itself, and we're actually going to watch another replay here. Albeit, I feel like somewhere, some long way, or somehow we played the wrong replay.
There we go. So yeah, this is round 2, and you can see, and he starts off with finding the one frag, but the smoke goes down, and they decide to just charge through at this point, even though they don't really use any utility that they have. Steel was the one guy who had a molly, but he goes down to the guy on forklift, and at that point, really, I think you're better off just hedging your bets, taking a step back, and re-advise the situation if you're Immortals, but they just had to just fully commit through the smoke, run into a bit of a stack, and it's a pretty easy cleanup really for Azure and the rest of the Renegades. But obviously, I think if you see this kind of a scenario happening, in a game that, if this had been game 1, map 1, I think you would have seen a different response from Immortals, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, just like I said, slightly less on the line here going into this one, and as it shows, we do know that Immortals are the better team. But as the story's told, Renegade's going to pick up cash there. I think it's time, though, because we are coming to the very close end of the race here, to take a look at the standings across the board in EU. Or I guess we're going to go to today's matches first. That's also nice. Optic.
Look at B-Stream, man.
Yeah, B-Stream having a quite a turbulent time over there. Several 16-0s.
Yeah, and I guess we could inform the audience the fact that those 16-0s are off the back of obviously the teams not being able to get a full lineup going. So you know, the foundation showing even more cracks, and well, Animal Squad not being able to herd together enough guys.
I see what you did there, and honestly, good job, man. That was pretty good. Not bad.
Do my best.
Animal Squad herding together. That was pretty good. Well, you're going to notice the inverse over there with Immortals and Renegades, obviously.
Bit of a swapperoo.
But we did see a little bit of a highlight there in the first match of the night between Optic and CLG.
I think that was always going to be the better game of the two. Not necessarily in terms of like where the highest potential peak of player performance is going to be, but in terms of how important the game was and what it meant to both sides, really. And Optic coming through there, showing the individual skill they have in that team is enough to carry them through.
Absolutely. Let's take a look now at those standings like I promised a minute ago, but now they're actually going to come up in front of you. Check it out. SK, Immortals, Cloud9 sitting at top. Immortals, SK have punched their ticket. They're going to Dallas.
Yep.
So at this point, there are 4 slots left. Who's going to get them?
Honestly, with the way it's looking right now, I'm tempted to say that the 4 currently sitting in the top 6 are looking pretty good. I think the one team that could sneak in there might be... well, yeah, you know what? It might be Misfits, actually. We talked about, or Blue mentioned the fact that they do have a couple of tiebreakers, actually, over a lot of other teams. And if Immortals decide to, you know, take the foot off the gas going into the last game versus Misfits this week, we could potentially see it happening.
Well, how about over in the European side of things?
Well, over in the European side of things, again, Mouse Sports and North have solidified their spot in Dallas so far, and honestly, wouldn't be too surprised if we saw G2 and Astralis kind of follow suit very closely. Navi and FaZe currently rounding out the last 2 spots, and well, if you look at the standings, I think it's fair to assume that both those teams are looking very likely to actually join them in Texas.
Texas. And that's funny you say that, because the LAN finals are actually in Dallas, Texas, in case somehow you live on the moon and you didn't know that. Head over to proleague.com/Dallas right now. Grab your tickets where you will be able to actually enter the event, or you can stand outside.
Not as fun sitting outside, though.
There's a chance I'll come hang out with you if you wait outside.
Tailgating?
I said a chance, I promise. Yes.
Yeah.
If you've never done a proper tailgate, then you are missing out. I better see some tailgating down in Dallas, too. I'm thoroughly... I think I'm endorsing that right now.
Yeah, sounds fair.
The good tailgating. The PG.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference would be. I don't really know what tailgating is. All I know is that you get a bunch of people together, you get barbecue food and beverages, and have fun.
Absolutely. Tons of apple juice all around.
Apple juice for everyone, straight from the orchard.
Let's take a look at tomorrow's schedule now. Let me remind you guys, it is a little bit different over there tomorrow. You are going to see 5 matches.
Yeah.
That's not a typo. That's a real deal. We do see a makeup match between SK and Energy there. Then we're going to slide right into a good old complexity rush bout, followed by Liquid versus Cloud9 to close out the night. So albeit... could shape up to be a pretty good one there towards the end of the night.
Definitely. I mean, all of the matches matter quite a bit as well. Renegades, I know what I want to say, Energy versus SK is obviously big for Energy. Complexity Rush trying to kind of get out of that pit, get it into safe distance. If they were to get a 2-0, they would actually equal Complexity in terms of wins, etc. So, you know, still something to fight for there. Kind of end it with the big battle of NA with Liquid C9. Bit of a classic. The
big battle of NA.
Yeah.
It's got a movie title ring to it.
There you have it.
Well, you know what? I think it's that time. Obviously, if you didn't catch any of the action tonight, head over to youtube.com/ESLCS and do that good jazz. But I think it's very much a thing where what is your real wild card to slip in the playoffs at this point? I guess
at this point, like real wild card, that would be like someone like Luminosity, because again, we're talking about like a mathematical chance, like. It's a very, very slim chance that they might make it. But to be a bit more realistic, I guess, or a bit more closer to reality, Misfits maybe.
Well, we're going to be starting an hour earlier tomorrow, so make sure you're here for that. We're going over 5 maps, not 4, so it's not your standard regular day here at the EPL. But that does it for us for the day. Make sure you're here tomorrow. We're going to find out what other teams might be making it to the top 6. See you guys tomorrow.